the memorandum that is presented to the clerk and the UPPP, the publishing house, is signed by the sponsoring minister.
That's true.
However, sometimes what happens is that when those people go to print, they just print without that signature, you see, of the sponsoring minister. But what is important is that the memorandum is signed, and I know it was signed because I was involved in this exercise.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. I was involved in this exercise of prompting the sponsors of these bills to sign the memoranda and submit them to the clerk and to the printing house. Yes, and I know for sure the memoranda were signed.
Motion. Chair, there is a difference between a memorandum and the bill.
The UNRWA staff are going to be absorbed. Still, they will be paid by the government. So where is the saving you're talking about? You mean if an officer is moved from UNRWA and is paid from Ministry of Energy, so the government is saving? It loses meaning.
Okay. I'm happy about the certificates. You will verify, Chair. You will verify the question of the certificates, and once you verify it, it will help, I'm sure, to convince Cabinet. There is a fact that I must state here, Chair. There is a fact that I must state here that we have discussed at length. Whatever direction it takes, whether it will mean, personal, I don't have anything personal.
Actually, sorry, Honorable. We had advised that you consider restructuring.
Whatever direction it takes.
Did you ever take any consideration? Restructuring to make you leaner.
Chair, we have looked at so many options. We looked at how TANROADS was brought down from what it used to be, the amorphous TANROADS, to this one. We have looked at so many options. Chair, but whatever direction it takes, the reality, if Chair, you could, I just beg, the reality is that there is a lot of duplication. There is a lot of duplication. My technical people are here from UNRWA. Sometimes it's not just Katumba, it's not just a Chweru. Anybody who will come thereafter should exercise complete authority so that it's accountable in the ministry. Should exercise complete so that it's accountable.
But he was listening to all of you when he was talking.
Kindly, please.
The expenses have been captured, and what is not captured are some of those things that are not going to be paid for now when UNRWA has been mainstream.
Honorable colleagues, let's listen in. We shall raise those issues, but let's first
I think so. So now the truth is, yes, there's going to be a saving, because after all, there's not going to be any UNRWA board. There are some common cadre staff who will not actually be taken up elsewhere. So there's going to be a saving, definitely. There's going to be a saving. And then some of the expenses, overhead and so on, which are now not going to be in use, are not going to be paid for anymore. So that will constitute a saving. Right Honorable Chair, I have already given the figures, and they are there for everybody to see. We used the Human Resource Manual to determine these figures. We used the Compensation Act to determine all these figures.
Yeah, a simple clarification.
And there were people with their grades and salaries who are concerned in this matter. So I think anybody who has questions can again look into that and satisfy himself or herself that a job has been done. Now, withdrawals and what have you by funders, maybe, as you know, you very well know, some of the withdrawals have not been occasioned by RAPEX. There are other circumstances which have influenced funders to withdraw some of the funding in various sectors in the country. Like, for instance, you very well know the passing of the anti-homosexuality law. So we cannot say because of RAPEX this is that. In any case, really, I don't think we should be so much worried. The international community is committed. It's committed to coming to assistance, to lending, to funding. This is some kind of complicated business which they cannot forego just because the agency they have been dealing with, called UNRWA, has been subsumed under the ministry. What is important is the country still stands. It's a sovereign country. Secondly, there is going to be an agency, which is the ministry, to handle all these. Now, we should tell the president that the committee is hostile. I beg to differ. The committee is not hostile. If it was hostile, actually it would have been boxed here, left, right, and center, in the African way.
Chair, the minister is done. Can I raise my question?
No, he's not done. He's responding. But you will come in after.
The committee has expressed a certain amount of incredulity. That's all. And that is different from hostility. Yes, and the committee is actually listening very well. So I will not take that message. I will not take the message. You know, I will not. Okay. Now, Honorable.
The House is on. I am at pain sending back without saying anything, but the Parliament is on. I will beg for.
But Chair, with due respect.
Okay.
With due respect, Chair.
Okay. No. Honorable, you'll come in later. Let them say something.
Say three very quick things and see how we progress from there. Honorable Chairman and members, the bill that is before you gives the reason for merging UNRWA, and it is upon this Parliament and the Executive to make its decision. UNRWA is really incompetent in this matter to make any comment on whether UNRWA goes or stays. That is beyond us. On the second one, I have what we are holding as an institution, the mandate we're holding, the request for a clear roadmap. Honorable Chair and members, we have a portfolio of approximately 9 trillion Uganda shillings. The roads that we are doing, the roads that are coming over the years. That is not something as an institution and as the leaders that I came with here, that we can just say, UNRWA has gone here. There must be a clear process where we hand over this 9 trillion portfolio very carefully so that there is no loss. And that roadmap is important because it is not, the transfer is not an event where you sign and hand over. That process must be thought through clearly. The third point, severance package. Chairman and honorable members, the Employment Act states that the severance package is a negotiation between the employer and the workers. The employer, Uganda National Road Authority Board, sat and made a package for its staff. This package was communicated through our Ministry to Public Service. That was a few years ago when the discussion of rationalization started. That package has been under debate. It has actually changed in number because over the years some people have left, others have joined. So the package has not been static. The most recent one we calculated up to December 2024 because we were getting indication that you will stop in December 2024. So we gave a figure, an indicative figure of 196 billion, which we transmitted through our permanent secretary, showing how it had been arrived at through the board, including board minutes. In the meeting which the Honorable Minister was referring to in the Ministry of Public Service, Attorney General was present. Attorney General made a statement. He said, I have just received these documents. I can only give you my preliminary opinion. However, after this meeting, we shall meet with UNRA and come back to public service. To public service. He did most recently on the 24th, and I'm not competent to represent him. Maybe at an opportune time he will come and speak for himself, in which he said that the package arrived at by UNRA should be in the certificate. Subject, and he gives subject to the interpretation of what severance is in the human resource manual that was used by the board. The board subsequently made interpretation and submitted it to Attorney General. So I am at pain when I hear the 46, because I don't know how it has been arrived at when the law says it is a negotiation between employer and employee. And Chair, this is a very hot issue. I have staff I must go back and report to. The law has not been repealed, which means we must continue working until the last day. But what are we as leaders promising the staff that when your job ends, this is what you will go home with? It's a very serious matter, Chair, and I request guidance.
The certificate of financial implication in respect to the terminal benefits that would be given to the staff that are affected by the RAPEX, the staff of the Uganda National Roads Authority. Interestingly, 3 certificates of financial implication came up with different figures. The first one was a certificate of financial implication that came up with a figure of 11 point something billion. 11 point something billion. And then there was another certificate of financial implication that came up that was actually presented to the committee by the Minister of Public Service that puts the figure at 46 billion. At 46 billion. There was also another one that came. I don't remember very well. I don't remember very well the figure, but it is varying. Then the Minister of State for Works and Transport, in his presentation, clearly stated that the money that they had put aside for the resettlement of the staff of UNRWA that are affected by RAPEX was actually at 196 billion. They had earmarked 196 billion. But in his report, in bracket, he said subject to scrutiny, subject to verification by the Ministry of Public Service. Now, at the tail end of our engagement with the UNRWA and also Ministry of Works and Transport, and also in the presence of the Minister of Public Service, at the tail end of our meeting today, the Executive Director of UNRWA, Madam Kajina Ellen, came up and said she was at pain at how the figures for the resettlement of UNRWA has been brought down to 46 billion. What they had come up with was way, way, way higher, given the contractual emoluments that they arrived at to pay the staff of UNRWA. They needed, the Minister of Public Service needed to have sat down with UNRWA and agree on the salary scheme under this new rationalization. In other words, if you listen to the tone of the Executive Director, it appears, contrary to what the Minister of Public Service said, there was no consultation with UNRWA to arrive at these figures. So as a committee, we shall still continue to interrogate this particular matter, because for us what concerns, the main concerning issue is the issue of the resettlement package, the retirement package that this UNRWA staff should go with. Otherwise, we listen to the arguments of the minister that there has been duplication, there has been wastage. Well, these were issues that we debated in the House at the other time. It was returned. We listened to it, the same argument the minister put on the floor. And also as a committee, we refreshed the memory of the minister and those of the UNRA. The debate that was tabled on the floor of Parliament in respect to the report that we put forward. But the executive has decided that UNRA must be rationalized, UNRA must be mainstreamed. What we want to understand is the issue of the laying off of the staff. There must be justice in respect to their retirement package. Thank you so much.